What's the answer to the fires, the storms, the damage they leave behind? Every year, more Americans aren't just hearing about environmental issues, they're experiencing them.
I think the most important thing to realize is that this is such a problem that a lot of people don't see.
What can we do about it?
It's upsetting, but it's also energizing, and we're all determined to make it right.
This week, we'll take you to where people are fighting to protect their homes and show you the unique challenges they're facing. This is The Race. Welcome to The Race. I'm Chris Stewart. Millions of deaths every year are the result of air pollution, according to the World Health Organization. It's tied to health issues like lung disease, stroke, and cancer. And here in this part of Louisiana, the pollution concerns are so strong that this area has received a nickname that no community would want.
They call our area Cancer Alley, and that's a hurting thing to know that we are considered as Cancer Alley.
It is a label that casts a shadow over the part of Louisiana where Sharon Levine's roots run deep.
Oh, when I grew up, we had everything over here. We had clean air, clean water, productive soil.
She's lived in St. James Parish all her life, but change here has become as constant as the flow of the Mississippi River.
The first industry started in the late 60s, and they grew as they came along. One came along, then the next one, the next one.
The dozens of plants between New Orleans and Baton Rouge produce around a quarter of our country's petrochemicals, materials used in everything from toiletries to paint. According to the Environmental Protection Agency, this area has one of the highest cancer risks from exposure to toxic air in the country.
My neighbors on this side died with cancer, neighbor on that side died with cancer, and so forth. We can go on and on and on.
In 2019, Sharon led an effort that stopped an overseas company from building $1 billion plastics plant here.
Because our lives worth more than a chemical plant.
Now she's worried about pollution again. She's fighting Taiwan-based Formosa Plastics, which the local council approved to build a $9.4 billion plant on this industrially zoned lot not far from her home, in part of St. James Parish that is mostly black.
When they said it was going to come 2 miles from my home, it did something to me.
Tulane University researchers recently found that higher levels of air pollution were linked to higher cancer rates among black or high poverty communities in Louisiana.
Race disparities in Louisiana are a big issue that is, bigger than any one factor, right? It's bigger than pollution. It's bigger than access to health care. It's, we see those disparities on a lot of different levels, but certainly one factor is the disproportionate location of these plants in African American communities.
The burden of pollution on communities of color isn't just a weight felt here.
I was diagnosed with asthma. At the age of 46 is when I came down with cancer.
In Philadelphia, the largest oil refinery on the East Coast closed in 2019 after an explosion. The EPA had reported for years the refinery was emitting high levels of benzene, a known cancer-causing chemical.
So they really damaged this neighborhood, this community.
To understand the evolution of the place now known as Cancer Alley, Dr. Joy Banner says, look to history.
Well, I think heavy industry was attracted to this part of Louisiana because the infrastructure was already there. And what I mean is infrastructure was placed there by the former plantations.
In the Louisiana town where she's lived all her life, Dr. Banner is fighting plans to build a grain complex near an old plantation where she teaches people about the past. She worries about the dust that could come from it.
So it would contribute to the already heavy pollution burden that we as a community are bearing.
As far as Sharon's fight, her group is filing legal challenges in hopes of stopping the multi-billion-dollar plastics plant.
We want clean jobs, green jobs.
Formosa Plastics sent us a statement saying the project will create hundreds of good-paying jobs. The company will pay millions in state and local taxes, and the project has met state and federal standards to protect the community. It says any claim it will greatly increase toxic emissions in the area is a misrepresentation and inaccurate.
But they're not going to build. Trust me. They will not build. Not 2 miles from me. I don't think so. No, indeed. Don't even say that word if they want to build. That upsets me when somebody say if it's coming. It's not coming.
If you wonder why someone would stay in a place called Cancer Alley, you don't understand that its meaning, to many who live here, goes beyond a nickname and a lifetime.
I don't want to leave because this is what my grandparents left here for us. They worked this land, they paid for this land, and for me to give it up, it's like I'm giving up the legacy of my grandparents.
More to come on The Race. Stick with us.